Opening statement by Linda.
Now, ladies and gentlemen.
And then opening statement by... Is this... Oh, are both opening statements here?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my preliminary instructions, and we are now ready for the lawyers to give their opening statements. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge, the state is ready. But from Mr. Ryan's point of view, police. Arrest him.
Hour and 20-minute opening statement. Linda, please. Okay, well, we already know what they're convicted of, and we know what they're trying to charge him with, so... Are we missing a video here for the opening statement of the... I wonder, why did they ask the jury to leave right here? Are we missing... Does the defense not get an opening statement in a criminal trial, or do you have the option to skip it, I guess, maybe? Just go to the Law and Crime playlist. What are we on right now? This is Law and Crime.
For joining us, we tend to see it as raw as this. Good evening, and Friday, and
to enact the citizen's arrest.
it was a.
The judge said it was optional in their state. Not sure if they skipped it. Okay, maybe they'll say at the end of this, I think.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short recess. Let's plan on about 10 minutes, and that will continue with the presentations of opening statements. Again, during breaks, do not discuss this case amongst yourselves. Don't go looking for any information about the case. And all of the other instructions that I've provided you will apply. Thank you.
So rise for the jury, please.
Defense makes opening remarks in trial of killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Okay, I guess for some reason the Law and Crime playlist doesn't have this. Okay. We'll hear how they defended in their opening statement.
Okay. Good afternoon. For those of you who may not remember from 2 weeks ago or whom I never met, my name is Bob Rubin.
Hi, Bob.
And along with Jason Sheffield, who I think y'all met, we represent Travis McMichael.
Hi, Travis.
This case is about duty and responsibility.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was trying to get your co-counsel, but if you could get, you can understand you may wander. If we could try to get close to the microphone for the court reporter.
Yes, sir.
He's got to dramatically wander back and forth. They're already cooking his opening statement, and he cut him off? Wow. It's already over.
It's about Travis McMichael's duty and responsibility to himself, to his family, and to his neighborhood. And it's about your duty and responsibility as jurors. The state talked about actions based on assumptions. I'm going to talk about facts. Facts in this case.
Thank you.
Travis McMichael is 35 years old. He's single. He has a 5-year-old son named Everett.
Oh, not where I thought we were going with that, but okay.
From 2007 until 2016, Travis McMichael was in the United States Coast Guard. He was a boarding officer in the Coast Guard, which means he was authorized to make arrests. He was authorized to do investigations. He was authorized to do searches. He was authorized to use his weapon when appropriate. In order to become a boarding officer, he attended FLETC in Charleston, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. Y'all know that acronym.
Okay.
At FLETC, he took the training that allowed him to do the law enforcement activities that he did for 10 years or 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
He learned how to do searches and seizures. He learned what probable cause was, a legal term that you'll hear more about. He learned how to use firearms in a safe, effective way. He learned how to use force in compliance with his training. The training he had was not just classroom training at FLETC.
Was real world training.
It is scenario-based training. It is repetitive training, so that if you're ever in a real-life situation where you need to make use of force decisions, you're relying, not just thinking back, you're relying on muscle memory.
Holy shit.
Because those split seconds are often the difference between life and death.
Or life with no parole.
But not only did Travis McMichael get training at FLETC in all of these law enforcement activities, searches and seizures, investigations, report writing, use of firearms, use of force decision making, but every year he was in the Coast Guard, he had additional training. And every year in the Coast Guard, when he became efficient enough, he then became a trainer of the trainees.
Damn.
He was training the trainers.
Jesus.
He was training his fellow Coast Guardsmen on the law enforcement activities, on how to be a boarding officer. After he left the Coast Guard, and in 2020, Travis was working for Metzen Marine as a coxswain. He's working at the naval base, moving boats around. He was living at home with his mom, Lee, and his father, Greg, his sister, Lindsay, and his son, Everett, who was then 3 years old. He was living at home because the apartment he was living in previously had been sold by his landlord. So he needed to live back at home, save some money so he could go back out on his own again. He was living, as the state told you earlier, in Satilla Shores. This is a low-tech map of Satilla Shores because I don't trust PowerPoint. You'll see a PowerPoint, but I don't trust it that much. So this
Oh no. Is that, are we rolling with that as part of our defense? Okay.
This is a regular map of it. Google Earth map. Highway 17 up here, Satilla Drive here, 230 Satilla Drive. This is just to acclimate you. This is Jones Road, and I know it's hard for all jurors maybe to see this, but you'll see this many times throughout the case. And we'll talk more about the rest of it. But he lived on Satilla Drive in Satilla Shores. Satilla Shores is a quiet, scenic, middle-class neighborhood. The kind of neighborhood where parents let the kids ride around on their bikes.
Aww.
The kind of neighborhood where, when you're my age, you go for a walk after dinner.
Aww.
The kind of neighborhood that we all kind of aspire to live in. It's safe, it's beautiful, you work in the yard, you play on the river.
Work in the yard. Oh my goodness. Sounds so wholesome. Until that
This is the family
burglar showed up.
and community that Travis McMichael felt a duty and responsibility to during the course of events in 2019 and 2020. This is the family and community that made him willing to put himself at risk to help the police detain Ahmaud Arbery. The video that you watched probably 5 times in the state's opening statement doesn't even begin to tell the story in this case. It's like looking through that knothole in the fence and thinking you see the whole baseball field when you really only see the outfield. The case really begins months before in 2019 because Satilla Shores was a neighborhood on edge. Crime had gone up. It wasn't violent crime. It was property crimes. The kind of crimes that are unsettling. The kind of crimes that are scary. Because you don't know who's coming onto your property, who's in your car ransacking it, who's breaking into your buildings, who's stealing your lawnmowers or your guns. And so the neighborhood was on edge. So much so that behaviors began to change by the neighbors. Kids were not allowed, some kids, to play outside after dark. Residents of Satilla Shores installed home surveillance cameras to catch the thieves that were taking their property. And neighbors in Satilla Shores felt a duty and responsibility to each other to post on the neighborhood pages, Facebook and Nextdoor, about the crime that was happening. And you'll hear about that.
Okay.
The types of posts that you saw on these pages includes, "This is ridiculous.
Jesus.
My daughter always freaks out. It's getting old. I'm nervous. Lock your cars." These are actual posts from those
What the heck is going on?
that neighborhood Facebook page. As a result of this uptick in crime, of people being on edge, people were alert to suspicious behavior. In July of 2019, Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael were alert to suspicious behavior, long before ever encountering Ahmaud Arbery. In July of 2019, Travis McMichael, who was at that point running a little charter boat, taking people out, tourists out on the river, in the marshes, was on his boat with some guests when he went under the Fancy Bluffs Bridge that you heard about earlier.
Okay.
There he saw a homeless man who
What was
had
that?
lots of stuff around him and a tarp.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Stuff, the kind of stuff that made Travis look twice and made Travis feel suspicious that maybe this was the guy who was taking the stuff out of our neighborhood. So he dropped off his guests eventually, went home, got in the car with his father, Greg, and they drove to the area under the Fancy Bluffs Bridge.
No shot are they going to say, and then they tried to citizens arrest this guy because his tarp looks suspicious. I don't know the actual rules if there's a lawyer guy who wants to post them, but you have really wide deference, I think, in your opening and closing statement to say basically whatever you want to say. However, you're not supposed to consider these things as evidence, right? That's all. You can only consult, what the witnesses say or what exhibits say or whatever. But you have a lot of deference to say, kind of like to lay out the narrative, I think, in your opening and then your closing statements. That's why there's like no objections or anything like here.
There they saw the man. And what you see up here is the call, basically what's called a CAD report. It's basically a report made of Greg McMichael's 911 call to the Glenn County Police to say, hey, basically, there's a guy under the bridge we think is responsible. Could you please investigate? And the police did. They sent an officer out there, and
Well, that's
really
good.
nothing of note was found.
Okay.
And the investigation ended. But the break-ins, the theft, didn't end, especially for a man named Larry English. For Mr. English, it was only beginning. Larry English, as you heard, lives in Douglas, Georgia. He was so excited to have a weekend home in Satilla Shores on this beautiful little Satilla River. He built a home.
Why does he have a porta potty in his front yard?
He was going to use it for weekends and vacations with his wife Amy, his daughter Laura, his son Hoyt. And so it took time, delays and all that with contractors and himself having issues with health. But he started building a home in Satilla Shores for use as a vacation place, a getaway. He built a dock. His home is right here, the dock, on the river. He had a boat on a hoist at the dock, and he had a large offshore boat in his RV garage. In that garage, and I promise not to touch the screen, is this large garage. But that's where he kept, it's called an RV, a garage, but it's really a boat garage for Mr. English. Eventually, because of some advice from his neighbor, Kenny Wade, who lived next door, he installed a camera at the dock and one on the back of his house, which you can't see from this photo. He was concerned about liability because kids were playing out there, and they would take his scraps of wood, they would hang out by the dock. But he was also concerned about theft because he had valuables at his house. He had 2 boats, sometimes 3 boats, and he parked his camper on the property, which you can't see in the picture, but you'll see eventually. His camper that he stayed in, sometimes alone, sometimes with his wife and kids, when they came to the house either to work on it or to play at it. So he was concerned about all of this when he installed those cameras. Over the course of the next 3-4 months, he saw on his cameras at night Ahmaud Arbery 4 times.
Is this federal or state trial? This is, I think it's a state trial, or it's a state trial, and I think it's being held in a state court, I believe.
The first time, and this is the first time his camera alerted at all, was October 25th, 2019. Now remember, he's in Douglas, Georgia. He has a cell phone. When his camera spots somebody, he gets an alert on his cell phone. This is a photograph of Ahmaud Arbery on his dock, October 25th, 2019. He gets this alert. He sees this man. He calls Glenn County Police Department. Can't call 911 because 911 would go to Douglas Police. But he calls the 911 number for Glenn County Police. And he's scared. And he's concerned. What is this guy doing at my house at night? There is no legitimate reason, according to Mr. English, for this man to be at his house where his boats are stored, where his camper is parked at night. And he calls the police. He's concerned not only for his stuff, but he's concerned for his family. Because what if Amy was there at the camper alone? What if his daughter, Laura, was there sleeping there that night? And she walks outside and bumps into this intruder. And he gets scared, and he panics, and she panics, and something really, really awful happens. These are the thoughts that went through Larry English's mind when he sees this intruder in his house on October 25th, 2019. He calls back Glenn County a second time after this initial call. Go back a little bit. Okay. Because he calls the police to tell them that the man who's on the dock, and he describes him as plundering around, describes his tattoos, describes his hair twists.
What makes a murder a state versus a federal crime? I think generally, I think it's just going to be where everything is happening. If you're committing murder and going across state lines and committing murders across state lines or doing some kind of interstate stuff, I think the federal government will try to hear that case. But generally, it's left to the state because the state has the authority, the venue, the laws. Like I think generally, it's always a state, or not always. It's generally a state issue. And you're going to be arrested by state authorities, and like police officers and everything are state employees, right?
The man who was in his house plundering around has now gone across the street towards his other neighbor's house. He describes it as a, I think, whitish, yellowish house. It's Subi Lawrence's house. It's a neighbor he knows. Subi is a single mom. She's a mother of 3 boys. The boys who play outside and ride their bikes and steal Larry English's scraps of wood for their skateboard ramp or their fort or whatever they're doing. This is who Mr. English sees and who he's concerned about. And he wants the police to confront this man and tell him, don't come back. He doesn't see him take anything. Remember, he's only got cameras on the back of the house right now. One camera, back of the house, and one camera at the dock. He wants him removed. By the time police come, and I think it's Officer Rash who responds that first time.
Listen, if the delay on YouTube's too big, kick.com/Destiny, okay? The delay's like 2 seconds over there, I think. Good luck.
Robert Rash, you'll hear from Officer Rash.
Stay mad.
No sign of Mr. Arbery, who the man we later find out is Ahmaud Arbery. No sign. Now he's okay with curiosity seekers coming to his house. We've all done it. See a house under construction. It looks kind of interesting. Oh, what are the neighbors building? What are they adding on? What's the staircase going to look like? He's okay with all that. He's okay with the kids coming in during the daytime, taking the...
It's not a federal trial. Google says federal trial for hate crimes, etc. They got federal charges for hate crimes, I think, afterwards or as a result of this investigation. But no, the primary charges, the murder charges here and everything, are on our state charges that Georgia is prosecuting, which is what this trial is for.
Scraps of wood, it didn't matter to him. What concerned him was there is no reason that's legitimate to be there at night. And that's why he calls the police.
This is the defense, right? Yes.
Sometime after October 25th, Mr. English is on a ladder in his RV garage, looks in his offshore boat, and realizes his satellite system, his Yeti cooler, and his microphone system are gone. Taken out of the boat. He doesn't know who did it. He does know the HVAC guys were in that area installing some of the not pipes, some of the system in there.
Okay.
He also knows the black male from October 25th was in there.
Oh.
And so he's suspicious. But what can he do? The next alert on his phone is November 17th. Okay, November 17th, a white couple comes on his property at night, 10 o'clock at night. They park out by the porta potty that you saw in the earlier picture.
Okay.
The man has his belt unbuckled.
What?
Odd. Comes in the house and he calls 911 and he says, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I had my stuff stolen. This is now November 17th. Week and a half, 2 weeks ago is pretty close to October 25th.
Okay.
I've had my stuff stolen. They're in the same area. They're going around where the boat is in the RV garage. Police send an officer out. Officers go out. The couple's gone. They see nothing.
What the fuck?
Mr. English is upset and he's frustrated. He has valuables stored at the house. Stuff has been stolen. Now 2 people have been seen on his cameras, 3 people, 2 white people and a black male.
Okay.
And so the next morning, November 18th,
What's he
he
doing?
goes and he gets his boat and he hauls it away.
Damn. Okay.
Figures,
He said, see ya.
I just can't keep valuables in this house that's open, but is owned by him with his valuables. And so he takes the boat away. That very night, November 18th, he sees the same black male he saw on October 25th. The man we now know is Ahmaud Arbery. He's back again. He's seen around the boat, not the big offshore boat, but the other boats. And according to Mr. English, he's plundering around again.
Plundering around again.
Calls Glenn County Police again. Glenn County Police arrive again. And again, Mr. Arbery gets away without being confronted by the police. And Mr. English is frustrated. Of course.
These goddamn cops aren't
He's
doing
so
anything.
frustrated that the very next day, November 19th, these are all out of order, and this is why we don't use technology. All right, November 18th, 2019.
This is a big case. You don't have associates? You don't have young people that you pay in your fucking legal office? I know it's just criminal law, but still, okay? This is public. They should have done a GoFundMe. They could have paid for some fucking Zoomers to come in and have a dank fucking presentation. Make some TikToks.
The night he sees Ahmaud Arbery for the second time. There's somebody back on the property again tonight. Black man, not wearing a shirt in late November.
Okay.
Got tattoos on his arms and a pair of light-colored shorts.
Fucking
He's
tattoos.
wandering in the carport, looking in the boat. Not the offshore boat, the smaller boat.
Okay.
The same guy that was here about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The night before, he's calling police saying, my stuff was stolen a week and a half, 2 weeks before.
Okay.
He kind of looks like he's up to no good. He's on 3 different people's cameras in the neighborhood. This is Larry English's 911 call on November 18th, 2019.
All right, let's hear it.
November 19th, the very next day, he has an exchange through text message with his 2 doors down neighbor, Diego Perez. Diego Perez is another person who believes it's his duty and responsibility to look out not
Yeah, we can definitely read those, buddy. Whatever. Maybe it's easier to see in court, but he's reading it for us, so whatever.
just for himself, but for his neighbors.
Okay.
And so Diego has this conversation with Larry English. This is a printout from an extraction from Larry English's phone.
Like, look at this.
This is a printout from an extraction.
What was this made in Microsoft Works? What's going on here?
From Larry English's phone. So, and you'll see this in evidence. And it's out of order, the way it's printed out. So I'm going to kind of walk you through it, because the first exchange is from Larry English. He sends Diego Perez clips of the videos from the white couple on the 17th of November and the black male on the 18th of November. And he says to Diego Perez, who he just knows as Diego Satilla Shores, that's how he's in his phone.
Mm-hmm.
They're not friends, they're just neighbors, good neighbors.
Okay. Like
And he
State Farm.
says to Diego, have you seen these people in the neighborhood? And Diego says, no, sir. I can't say I've ever seen them in the neighborhood, but I'll keep an eye out. I can respond in mere seconds, because he's only 2 doors down.
Ooh, mere seconds.
With your permission.
Okay.
Larry English says, you have my permission. And Diego says, I may be able to intercept them or pen them up for the police. I may be able to intercept them or pen them up for the police. Diego Perez is taking it upon himself, if he can, to perform a citizen's arrest.
What a hero.
I'm going to hold them until the police come. And Larry English's response to that, thank you. Because seconds count.
What is your
Perez
shit being
knows it.
stolen?
Larry English now knows it, because 3 times he's tried to catch his intruders and 3 times he's failed because the police just get there too late. As Diego Perez artfully put it, when seconds count, the police are minutes away.
That's so artful.
And so he needs the help of Diego Perez and other neighbors. Officer Rash, who responds to these calls, he canvasses the neighborhood. He's trying to catch this guy.
Yeah, where is he?
And so he canvasses the neighborhood using stills from the video. Have you seen this guy? Do you know him? Can you help me help Larry English? And no one knows him. He's not jogging in the neighborhood. No one's ever seen him. The only time we see Ahmaud Arbery in Satilla Shores is at night on these cameras.
Damn.
And remember, people have cameras in the neighborhood.
Okay.
If he was in there jogging in the daytime, you would see evidence of that.
Okay.
So November 19th, Diego Perez offers to help. Officer Rash canvasses the neighborhood. He's still a mystery. He is at this point a scary mystery.
Ooh.
Because he's plundering around Larry English's house, and now everybody knows it. Officer Rash has canvassed the neighborhood. Larry English is talking to neighbors like Matt Albenzi, like Subi Lawrence, like his neighbor Diego and his wife Brooke Perez. It's being posted on Facebook, on the neighborhood Facebook page. Word is out that stuff was stolen from Larry English's house,
Ooh.
parked in his RV garage. Now, I want to be clear.
Okay.
In May,
Clear it up for us. Crystal clear.
after Travis McMichael was arrested, Larry English realizes he doesn't really know when the stuff was stolen. It was back in Douglas. It was in the house on Satilla Drive. But what he was telling people in October, November, December, January, February 2020 is that the stuff was taken out of my boat, parked at my house on Satilla Drive. That's what the neighbors knew from Larry English and Officer Rash.
Okay.
He's back at the house, Ahmaud Arbery, on December 17th. This is now the third time seen on camera at Larry English's house. He's at night. He has no legitimate reason for being there. And remember, although you're seeing him through infrared cameras, it is pitch black in that house. There is no light. There's no lights on, there's no light switch, no light bulbs. It is pitch dark.
Dark.
And on December 17th, Ahmaud Arbery is seen plundering around again in the area where the boats were located in that RV garage.
Okay.
Police are not called that night. There's no 911 call. Larry English can't remember why he didn't call police. He may have been sick and not seen this video until much later.
All right.
And you saw the clip of the video with Ahmaud Arbery walking outside the house, looking around again, and taking off into the neighborhood. And the question remains, was he out for a jog? 10 o'clock at night, December 17th? Or was he doing something else?
Ooh.
And we'll never know. But it sure does look suspicious. The next time he's seen in Larry English's house is February 11th, 2020. This is now the fourth time in the house.
Okay.
But this time is different.
Why?
Because this time it's not Larry English who calls the police. It's Travis McMichael. The state got the facts a little bit wrong. So let me correct them.
Ooh.
Travis McMichael was going out that night, about 7:30 at night, it's dark, to get gas, fill up his car before the next day. He had to be at work early, so he was just going to fill up his car that night, so he wouldn't have to wake up so early in the morning the next day. On his way up the street, and he's at 236 Hill, this is the exit up here, this is English's house. As he gets up here, he sees a figure dart across the street. And this figure, now he realizes it's a man, is lurking in the shadows 25 to 30 feet from the street.
Okay.
Kind of staying in the shadows very furtively, catches Travis's attention. He has no idea who this is. He's never met Ahmaud Arbery. But he sees this guy, and he sees this guy kind of running across the lawn. It's really initially the house next door, kind of a Spanish-style house. And he runs across the yard, and he hides behind that red porta potty that you saw in that photograph. Travis is like, this is not good. We know about a guy intruding in Larry English's house, and he stops his car and he kind of aims his headlights at the porta potty. And knowing there is no legitimate reason for this man to be there, he starts to get out of his car to ask him why he's there. Well, this guy steps out from the porta potty.
And then?
He reaches with his left hand, I believe, into his waist, as if reaching for a weapon.
Oh, shit.
This scares the heck out of Travis. He sees this. He's trying to get out. Gets in his car, puts it in reverse, stalls because he's so startled. Eventually backs up and gets home, where he calls 911, and this is what he says. This is the 911 call. We're not going to play the whole thing because it's too long.
Okay.
What's your best of your emergency? It's a forward drive, 230, still drive. What's going on? We got a string of parkers. I was with my neighborhood, and I just called down, running into a house being built. These houses down from. Well, I turned around, she took off running into the house. Okay.
Don't worry, I can't understand it either, guys.
The black male, red shirt, white shorts. And you said the house is being built? It's being built. I'm thinking right now. He's in the house.
Jesus, what is that, Alien?
What's your name on the car? Travis McMichael. 4230 1374. Alright. Where are you at now? I'm at the city, or across the street, in my truck. Watching the house. Watching the house with her. I'm here at 6 o'clock. Where's the property at? We're at 40. Okay. Are you okay? Yeah, whatnot. It just startled me. When I turned around, stalling and backed up, he reached into his pocket and ran into the house. So I don't know if he's armed or not. It looked like he was acting like he was. So,
Damn.
Be mindful of that. Okay. Which pocket did he reach into? The left, I believe. Okay.
He goes on to say later on, it's about 3 or 4 minutes later, so
Yeah,
we
what's
don't
he
need to
say?
waste your time, is we've been having a lot of burglaries and break-ins around here lately.
Okay.
So now here we are, this guy who has seen Travis see him and seen Travis drive away, still has the audacity, the brazenness to go into the English house.
Jesus Christ.
Travis is home calling 911. Greg McMichael overhears, and he starts going up to the English house. And he's got his firearm with him.
Okay.
And Travis says, whoa, 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 slow down. Turns out Travis ends up going up there with him, and Travis has his firearm.
So is the defense trying to say he was clearly plundering my property and was always carrying a gun, so he deserved to be killed? So in this court case, they're using, I think this is the correct term in Georgia. I don't know if they're very state to say, but it's an affirmative defense. So that's exactly what they have to argue. They're not denying that they killed him, but what they're trying to prove, I think at 51%, I think it's a preponderance of evidence. So more likely than not, they're trying to prove that, well, we killed him because of, I don't know if they're going with self-defense or as part of a citizen's arrest that turned into self-defense, but yes, they're trying to argue, the defense is trying to argue the affirmative here.
Diego Perez, who by now has been alerted by Larry English with his video clips, he goes out there, he's armed. These neighbors are going to Larry English's house not because it's fun at
Okay.
8 o'clock at night
Okay.
in February in Satilla Shores, but because it's their duty and responsibility to each other to protect each other, to do what they can to help the police stop the guy who's plundering around, breaking into Larry English's house.
Gotcha.
Officer Rash gets called. They are all out. Officer Rash, 2 other officers, Diego Perez, Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael, all out trying to find the guy, Ahmaud Arbery, who's now for the 4th time in Larry English's house. Officer Rash appreciates the help. He never tells Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael, or Diego Perez, hey guys, let the police handle this. We got this. No problem. You guys go home. He never tells them, hey, put those guns away. We don't need guns out here. Don't carry guns around here. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say, no, you guys cannot stop and detain this guy if you catch him. That's a police job, because it is a citizen's job to help the police. And the law authorizes that. He tells Greg McMichael and Travis McMichael that Larry English says nothing was stolen, but these guys know stuff was stolen. Everybody knows it. Larry English has already told everybody. Subi, Matt, Diego, Brooke, Annette Beasley, Ronnie Olson, Rash has been around. We all know it. Stuff has been stolen.
Okay.
So now here we are. Here are facts, not assumptions.
Facts.
Travis McMichael has now seen Ahmaud Arbery face to face for the first time. At Larry English's house, and then in Larry English's house. He's had a first-hand encounter. He knows that Ahmaud Arbery has been lurking around that house for no legitimate reason. Not authorized to be there. He's not working on the house, not doing anything but plundering around the house. He knows stuff has been stolen.
Whose fucking cell phone just went off?
It's not. It's probably the power. These things have a mind of their own.
Just want to make sure.
He knows stuff has been.
Okay, I don't know if I'm being ultra fucking pedantic here. If like, especially, I mean, really at all parts of the trial, but like, especially your opening and closing, like you're trying to tell, this is one of your only opportunities to give the strongest, most emotionally compelling version of the events that happened that are going to determine, depending on how well you argue it to the jury, whether or not, you walk scot-free or you spend the rest of your life in jail. If my fucking defense attorney can't work a fucking PowerPoint, or he's got like random sound effects interrupting his shit, bruh, I need the jury to be like enthralled with your presentation right now, not getting distracted by whistles and sound effects coming off of your computer because you were too lazy to hire somebody who knows how to work it. What the fuck? I would be triggered as fuck.
Been stolen. Because Larry English has told everybody that. He knows this guy has the audacity to go in the house despite knowing people are around and watching him. He knows he's possibly armed because he made that move to his left-hand pocket, waist. He has probable cause to believe a burglary has been committed. What is burglary? Let's go back one slide. Burglary is entering a dwelling, whether occupied or not. The fact that it's open without doors means nothing. It's any dwelling, any building, structure, whether occupied or not, without authority, with the intent to commit a felony or theft. You don't actually, to commit a burglary, have to take anything. It is the intent to take something or to commit another felony that makes it a burglary.
A lot of work goes into preparing a defense. Not everyone is going to go through every technical detail of the presentation, That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Why would you go through the entire process, all the legal research, the constructing of the case, like all the work to do this, just to fall flat on your face during the presentation? Like, imagine this guy were to show up to court in like sweatpants and a t-shirt and hasn't showered in like 10 days. And it's like, bro, are you okay? And it's like, well, a lot of work goes into these things, dude. You don't understand. Like, hell, okay, well, how about we like bring it home at the end here then, Chief? Like, maybe?
Makes it a burglary. Travis McMichael has probable cause, based on his training of what probable cause is, to believe Ahmaud Arbery is a burglar. Probable cause. What does it mean? It is the level of suspicion.
Objection.
Ooh.
Point in time.
I think it's usually considered a pretty big, I don't want to say a faux pas to object during an opening or closing statement, but you have to fuck up real bad. Okay, sorry, let's hear this. Damn, hold on.
It is the level of suspicion.
Objection. At this point in time, this is... I have an objection at this point in time to this being the law, and the law is going to come from the court. And this has not been, how would I put this, approved on any level by the court.
Well, let me make it clear. This is what Travis McMichael understood from his training was the definition of probable cause.
Okay.
So the
Just
evidence
clarify
will
where we
show.
are. Ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated to you,
Oh, I understand her objection. So the issue is, let's say that you're on trial for murder, okay? And then let's say that the judge, or I'm sorry, let's say that in the opening statement, your defense attorney throws up on the board, murder. Murder is when you kill somebody because you think they hated cats more than dogs. And then the plaintiff, the state is objecting here because they're like, hold on, you're misinforming the jury about what the actual law is. So when they go back to make their determination, you've now misinformed the jury about the law. You can't do that. And then the defense's response is, well, hold on, no. I'm not saying what the law is. I'm saying what he thought the law was. That's the distinction he's trying to draw here.
Let me make it clear. This is what Travis McMichael understood from his training was the definition of probable cause.
So this is his
the
understanding.
evidence
clarify
will
where we
show.
are. Ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated to you,
So the judge is going to remind them, whatever a fucking attorney says, okay, that's like fucking, that's not what you're really here to consider. It's my instructions plus what the exhibits and the witnesses say. This is just an opening statement, I think.
the court will actually charge you on the law.
Yeah.
During the presentation here, the representation is made on what the law is. Again, the court, you will receive that from the court. You will not be receiving that from counsel. So if we could please couch the argument in those terms.
Yes, sir. And this is not what I understand probable cause to be. This is what Travis McMichael, from his 10 years in the Coast Guard, understands probable cause to be. The level of suspicion that would cause a reasonable and prudent person to believe that a crime has been committed under the totality of the circumstances.
Leon in chat says, you're allowed to say you will hear testimony that this guy was a burglar instead of this guy was a burglar. Okay.
That's it. It's the level of suspicion that you would need under the totality of the circumstances to believe that a crime was committed. That's where Travis McMichael sat.
Oof. So even though this is affirmative defense, I think so there are a couple stages, I guess, that the defense would have to prove in order to have won this case. They have to prove that the citizen's arrest was valid and just, I guess, right? So they have to meet all the prerequisites for justifying the citizen's arrest, because if that's not, then no matter what happens afterwards, like even if the other guy was totally in the wrong, you started things off with a kidnapping. So if he dies, you're almost always, I imagine, you're fucked there, because you started things off with the commission of a violent crime, and so you're responsible for all the felonies committed there, and I believe, or like the outcomes or whatever. I think, don't quote me on that. So he has to prove that the citizen's arrest was valid, that he had a good reason for it, which involves the whole probable cause analysis and all that bullshit. And then the second part is going to, however, I don't know how they do the death part. It's going to have to be like self-defense or something, I imagine, right? But
As of February 11th, 2020. The next time we see Ahmaud Arbery in Satilla Shores is February 23rd. It's a beautiful day, kind of a warm February day in Brunswick. Travis McMichael, around midday, around 1 o'clock, is on the couch in his living room trying to get Everett to take a nap, 3-year-old son. So he's doing the strategies that parents do. He has Everett every other week. He shares custody with Everett's mom. On this Sunday, he's trying to get Everett to go to sleep. Greg is in the front yard, in the driveway, reupholstering his boat cushions. It is a pleasant, uneventful Sunday morning leading into Sunday afternoon. While they're doing that, Ahmaud Arbery is walking into the neighborhood, not jogging, not running, walking into the neighborhood, walking into Larry English's front yard. Next. Where he stands there, and this is the view from Ronnie Olson's house across the street, where he stands there, looks around, and walks into the house. While he's doing that, Matt Albenzi is in his yard, down Jones. So he's down here. He can see directly into Larry English's yard. He is aware of the break-ins into Larry English's house. He is aware of the items stolen from Larry English's boat. He's out splitting logs. Tree had fallen in his yard, so he's breaking up the tree. He sees this guy that looks like the guy from the video clips. In fact, is the guy from the video clips, walking into Larry English's house. He grabs his gun, puts it in his pocket, grabs his cell phone, walks down Jones to an oak tree, there he is, across the street from Larry English's house. And he calls 911. While he's calling 911, he sees Ahmaud Arbery through the windows in Larry English's house. He doesn't know what he's doing in there, but he knows this guy's been there at night 4 times prior. He knows stuff is stolen, so he's calling the police. He makes, he believes, eye contact with Ahmaud Arbery. The next thing he sees is Ahmaud Arbery sprint out of that house. He is not jogging.
God, the sound effects.
He is running away into the neighborhood, possibly armed, based on prior experience. He is sprinting at what turns out to be about a 6-minute mile. It's fast, and he's got long strides.
Oh, man.
That view is from Diego Perez's surveillance camera. He runs right past Greg McMichael's yard. Greg McMichael sees him. Greg McMichael is aware of the things that have happened that we've talked about. Greg McMichael sees him tearing, hauling ass down the road. And he knows what's up. And he goes inside and he tells Travis, the guy's running down the street. The guy.
The guy. We know
Right,
who that guy is.
It's not some random guy running down the street.
It's the guy.
The guy.
The guy.
And he turned out
He's
to be
that.
right. It is the guy, the same guy 4 previous times at night. They grabbed their guns. Now, why did Travis McMichael grab his shotgun? Because
He saw him have a gun before.
12 days earlier, he confronts this guy, trying to help Larry English, and this guy reaches into his pocket like he has a gun. So he grabs his shotgun for self-protection. And he gets in the car, and he walks out in the yard actually, and
Yeah.
he sees Matt Albenzi motioning down the street. Same direction Ahmaud Arbery was running in. So he gets in the car, his dad gets in the truck, I'm sorry, I say car, it's a truck, Ford F-150, and climbs into the car seat because when seconds count, the
Police are
often
minutes away.
The police are not going to catch this guy at the speed he's running.
This guy's got a 6-minute pace.
So they're going to try to detain him for the police.
It's a goddamn
What happens
bionic
after that? It's
man.
up to the police. So they encounter Ahmaud Arbery on Burford. The first encounter is at 307 Burford. This is what it looks like. You saw the video. Oh, let's go back to there. They're there to detain Ahmaud Arbery for the police. This is what the law allows.
Demands.
A private person may arrest an offender if the offense is committed in his presence or immediate knowledge. And that
This is going to be a real hard one to prove, I feel, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't even know what parts of this trial they failed on. So
applies to felonies or misdemeanors.
wait, really? Or can you arrest somebody for a misdemeanor, but you can't chase them unless it's a felony? No shot. Can you citizens arrest over misdemeanors? I don't believe that. No way. But
Presence or immediate knowledge.
I mean, if he says it, it's...
And that applies to felonies or misdemeanors. But there's a second sentence the state didn't tell you about. The second sentence is, if the offense is a felony and the offender is escaping or
that's what it is.
attempting to
Okay.
escape, a private person may arrest him upon reasonable and probable grounds of suspicion. That's why
They chased him.
Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael sought to detain Ahmaud Arbery. There was no crime committed in their presence.
I think it needs to be, though, doesn't it? Hold on one sec. Are they going to try to say that they don't specify a time period? For, like, if I see somebody commit a felony, then I can chase them down 2 weeks later? Is that the argument we're going with, or?
We're not contending there was a crime committed in their presence, but there was probable cause to believe a felony had been committed and that this man was attempting to escape or flee.
No shot. That's a wild argument. Maybe. Maybe not. Jeez.
That's why citizen's arrest is in this case. There are 3 encounters with Ahmaud Arbery on Burford.
Okay.
The first one is in front of Roddy Bryan's house. William R. Bryan. I shouldn't call him Roddy. I don't know. Mr. Bryan's house. Travis McMichael pulls up alongside Ahmaud Arbery and says, "Stop. Whoa. I want to talk to you. What were you doing back there? What's
Hey,
going
boy."
on?" And Ahmaud Arbery says, "0."
What?
He doesn't say, "Hey, man, I'm just out for a jog." He doesn't say, "Hey, leave me alone." He doesn't say, "Back off."
He doesn't even respond to the guys chasing him down in the F-150?
He doesn't say, "Hey, calm." Doesn't say anything. He just looks at Travis, and he goes back the other way. Travis backs his truck up. He says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, stop. Let me talk to you." Ahmaud Arbery looks at him and bolts. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't say, "Leave me alone." Doesn't say, "Hey, good morning, good afternoon." He just bolts. At this time, there is no gun. The shotgun that Travis bought is stuck between his seats. Greg's gun is on his holster. There's no gun being pointed at Mr. Arbery. There's no like, "Hey, stop," at the point of a pistol or a shotgun. There's no gun. Mr. Arbery's not even aware of any gun at that point because no gun has been shown.
Okay.
They go down Burford. They pull up to him again. And Burford, by the way, Satilla Drive turns kind of, the little jog turns into Burford. And they go down Burford a little ways more. "Whoa, stop. We want to talk to you." "Stop. We called the police. Police are coming." When Mr. Arbery hears Travis McMichael say, "We called the police. Police are coming."
Do you think they had they had reasonable suspicion trying to perform a citizen's arrest? I mean, maybe, but for the chasing, they needed to directly witness a felony, which this guy's even saying they didn't. Although it sounds like he's going to try to say, well, maybe they observed a felony weeks earlier. But I don't know if that's the theory that they're running with this, but we'll see.
He bolts back the other way, towards Roddy Bryan's house, back towards Satilla Drive. They stop the truck, put it in park. Greg McMichael does get out, and he gets in the bed because he's cramped into the child seat. Travis McMichael gets out, and he looks down the road. Like, what the heck? I want to talk to this guy. He's just been suspected of coming out of English's house. He sees Albenzi moving. We know it's the guy from the night, 12 days before. He's back again. And he looks down the street and he sees Ahmaud Arbery trying to get into Roddy Bryan's truck, to Mr. Bryan's truck. He's interacting with the truck. And he doesn't know who that black Silverado truck belongs to. He doesn't know Roddy Bryan. He's never met him. He doesn't know his truck. So he sees this black Silverado, and he sees Ahmaud Arbery trying to get in it, and he expects to hear a gunshot because he thinks Ahmaud Arbery is armed, like he pretended to be on the 11th, and he's fearful that this guy, whose name he doesn't know, will try to shoot the owner of the truck and take the truck. And so that scares him. This attacking the truck worries him. His dad says, Travis, go back, go back. He says, no, Dad, just go around. We're going to go around Zellwood. You heard the name. Goes down Burford. They're down here. They see this interaction back here. They're going to go around Zellwood. They don't, and take a left on Holmes. Now, they don't know where either the black Silverado is or what that has to do with anything or where Ahmaud Arbery is. So going down Holmes is not with the intention of trapping Ahmaud Arbery. It's with the intention of strategically planting yourself so you can kind of help the police see the neighborhood.
Oof,
As
okay.
they go down Holmes Drive at a slow rate, they see Ahmaud Arbery running in front of the truck. Travis McMichael drives past him. Doesn't say anything to Ahmaud Arbery, doesn't shout at him, just kind of drives past him, watching to see what this guy is going to do. Again, no gun, no shotgun, no pistol is brandished, pointed, in any way shown to Mr. Arbery.
What? Stop. Don't touch my monitor.
3 times on Burford, they encountered Mr. Arbery. Now, once on Holmes, no gun. They go down to the bottom of Holmes, towards the stop sign, and stop the car. They don't know where Mr. Arbery is at this point because he's around a dog leg. That's the picture of Holmes Drive, looking up it from Travis McMichael's vantage.
Bro, what the fuck is this map? Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm looking at like Cold War era satellite surveillance. What the fuck?
And you can see where the road kind of dog legs to the right. And past that dog leg, you can't see what's happening. But at that point, Travis McMichael can now strategically see Satilla Drive, his road where his family is located, Burford,
Jesus.
and Holmes. So if the police get there, which he thinks they're coming any minute,
Don't touch that.
he can tell them, I don't see him in these directions, he's that way. Or I do see him, and he's in one of these streets. That's why he stops.
Stop! No, 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 no! Stop! No, that's not a scratching thing. Get down. No! He was trying to scratch my light! What are you even doing up here? Where do you want to go? Huh? You're not up here. Go somewhere else. Pick, choose. Look at all the great places that you can go explore. Seriously? This is the only time he's ever sat in my chair. Just because I want to sit here? Because I'm working? Okay. You can sit behind me if you want. Yeah, that's right. Get the fuck out. Jesus.
While he stopped there, gets out of his truck, Greg is still in the bed, and they see Ahmaud Arbery coming at him. And Travis is like, whoa, stop, whoa, 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 stop.
Whoa, dude.
Ahmaud Arbery keeps running at him. Travis keeps yelling, stop, stop, stop.
He's not
And
stopping.
then he reaches into his car, and he sees Ahmaud Arbery flip and go back around the dog leg. Grabs his gun and his cell phone. He says, "Dad, when are the police getting here?" His dad says, "I didn't call 911. Travis dials 911 and gives his dad his phone. And that's why we have a 911 call, because Travis McMichael had his phone and thought to call the police. Where are they? It's before the first shot is fired. They call the police. That is not evidence of intent to murder. While Travis is out there, now he has his gun for protection because this guy has run at him, has acted bizarrely, has not said a word yet that he could tell. And now Ahmaud Arbery is running back. Travis's training taught him to show a weapon. Not to use a weapon, to show a weapon, because that is a way to de-escalate violence. In the normal situation, you show someone you have a weapon, you get compliance.
That's a take.
You don't need to go any further. And so he stands there at the low ready position, not pointing his weapon, and Ahmaud Arbery is running. And he's running at Travis McMichael. Stop, stop, get down, stop. And this guy is not stopping. And Travis knows that this guy is not going to stop. He's not predictable. He's going to be on him in seconds if he doesn't do something. It's like, please, please turn, please go up, Satilla.
People are saying that this guy's the worst lawyer ever. Now, truthfully, I don't know anything about his history. He could be a bad lawyer. But like, every defendant in the United States of America is constitutionally afforded the right to have a defense. It could just be a really, really hard case, right? It might just be that the facts of this case are just so difficult or inconvenient that this is the best you got, you know? Like, I mean, what are you gonna do, you know? It's not like the defendant could be like, yeah, fuck, my guys are super guilty, they're fucked. Like, you know, what are you gonna do?
This is where we are. Ahmaud Arbery had a clear path to Satilla. Travis is down here. He could have cut across there. He doesn't cut across. He's coming at him. And yes, at about 20 yards, he raises the weapon because he knows Ahmaud Arbery can be on him, and he's hoping that by raising the weapon, he will de-escalate the situation. Who's going to attack a guy pointing a shotgun? If he wanted to kill him, that was an open shot. He didn't shoot. He didn't shoot his weapon. He was trying to de-escalate the situation in compliance with his 9 years of training in the Coast Guard. Same training police officers get. You see his, just go back to the one before. The gun is down, and you saw this a little bit. You can see the white forearm of Travis McMichael. Let me move this map.
Do you think you could come up with a better defense? I don't know off the top of my head all the facts of the case. I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty rough case. Like, the defense clearly thought they were in the right at the time of the shooting, so they admitted to so many things to the police that, like, by the time this case is even in front of a defense attorney, it's like, whew, Jesus.
I apologize.
I think you could probably turn this to give them a better look at it.
It's okay, don't
Careful.
It doesn't even face them. How can we not turn it? It's on wheels.
I didn't say don't.
Okay.
I said be careful, because when you've done that before,
I would just end it. And if I would just end it. Fuck me, dude. It's over.
lost.
You'll see this in this
Okay, hold on
Oh,
a
I'm sorry,
second.
I'm sorry.
Next time I ask you to stop, please stop.
No, I thought you
In
did
this
Okay, hold on. Because when you've done that,
not turn it. It's on wheels.
It's okay, don't
careful.
It doesn't
Wait, did he say it? Hold on.
turn this to give them a better look at it.
It's okay, don't
Careful.
It doesn't even face them. How can we not turn it? It's on wheels.
I didn't say don't.
Okay.
I said be careful, because when you've done that before,
He's in the middle of the judge talking. Oh, God. Oh! Let him finish his sentence, bro. Oh, no.
lost.
You'll see this in this
Okay, hold on
Oh,
a
I'm sorry,
second.
I'm sorry.
Next time I ask you to stop, please stop.
Oh, I thought I should just be careful.
No, yeah, the point is, let's not keep moving stuff around. If you're going to be doing something, just let everybody know what's going on.
Did he just do that totally unannounced? Did he just walk up and be like, let me help out here? Wait, hold on.
Travis McMichael. Let me move this map. I apologize.
He's moving this over here.
It's okay, don't
Careful.
It doesn't.
Oh yeah, this guy just like, let me just go ahead and turn this.
And face them. How come you're not turning it? It's on wheels.
I didn't say don't.
Okay.
I said be careful, because when we've done that before, we have lost.
You'll see this in
It is this scene, right?
Want to get down on this?
Hold on a second.
I'm sorry.
Next time I ask you to stop, please stop.
Oh, I thought I should just be careful.
No, yeah, the point is, let's not keep moving stuff around. If you're going to be doing something, just let everybody know what's going on. Okay?
All right.
Yeah, the point was, last time this was touched, not by Ms. Donkowski, but generally in other matters before the court, we've lost it. So if we could, before we just start moving things around, let the court know.
I don't touch it.
Well, I know Mr. Rubin doesn't
I'm
touch
not
it.
touching it.
Fuck you guys. Everyone in chat's like, how didn't you know about a vase mount for your monitor? See, they need a bulky C-stand with one of the extra large vase mounts. You can get the attachments for the back, and they didn't have it. See how important this shit is? Now this guy's losing his whole fucking case. He looks like a clown. Who's going to take this guy's argument seriously? He can't even move a monitor around.
And I don't mean to call it a shit, but I'm very touchy about, no pun intended, about some of this electronics in here. As Mr. Rubin has alluded to, we've lost connections and all sorts of problems. So we're trying to make sure these presentations flow. So I didn't mean to get on council. But if everybody could let me know if we're doing that.
This is a fuzzy picture. You'll have pictures
Why do I hear creaking noises like it's about to fucking fall over?
in this. This is a fuzzy picture. You'll have pictures in the video
I'm sure it's probably just somebody in their chair or something, but
throughout the course of the trial. His arm is down, and you can see the white forearm. You can see the driveway here. Travis McMichael.
We haven't lost the sight line there, have we? You're okay over your shoulder now? Okay, that's the other issue is,
And I know it's awkward, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Sorry. So there's a driveway here, and Travis McMichael is across from another
holy shit, production value. We got a second camera, ladies and gentlemen.
driveway.
And now he said, fuck that, okay.
You'll see it's about 60 feet, 20 yards away. And he knows how quickly someone can cover 20 yards in seconds. An unarmed person can take a weapon away and kill a police officer
In 10 seconds.
or a civilian in seconds,
No, it's not 10 seconds. It's way shorter than that.
even from 20 yards away.
Oh my God.
Even an armed person from 20 yards away. So he raises his weapon, and the next slide,
All
You
of his
see the
aura
distance?
completely gone.
because he wants the guy to stop, not because he wants to hurt Ahmaud Arbery. He's not looking for an encounter. If he wanted to hurt somebody, he would have fired on Burford, on Holmes, or now down here at the bottom. Ahmaud Arbery doesn't stop. He doesn't say, whoa, hey, I'm good. He doesn't say anything. And he doesn't stop. Instead, he goes around the truck to the right-hand side, the passenger side, and at that point, Travis McMichael can't see his hands. Remember, he still thinks this guy could be armed because I saw this guy, at least pretend he was, on the 11th. He doesn't know, and he can't see his hands. And his dad, his 64, 65-year-old dad, who's had a stroke, is on the bed, and Ahmaud Arbery could just yank him down or take a shot at him. He doesn't know. So he goes to the front of the truck to get an eye on him. What's this guy gonna do? Good Lord, I hope he just keeps running. Go up Satilla. But he doesn't know, so he goes to the front, and within a split second, Ahmaud Arbery makes a left, not a right. Makes a left and is on Travis, such that Travis has no choice but to fire his weapon in self-defense.
No choice.
And that shot is a contact or near contact wound, meaning Ahmaud Arbery is a fire.
Does he say that?
Such that makes a left. Ahmaud Arbery makes a left, not a right. Makes a left and is on Travis, such that Travis has no choice but to fire his weapon in self-defense. And that...
God, I hate Tim Pool so much. I'm sorry. This just makes me hate Tim Pool so much. Does his audience not see like how they don't care? I'm playing into it. Sorry. Even the defense didn't go with it was an accident. The shots were accidental. Even the defense here goes with the first shot was a self-defense shot.
That shot is a contact or near contact wound, meaning Ahmaud Arbery is on him. You will hear that from Brian Leopard of the GBI Crime Lab.
How accurate is this retelling of events? I don't know because I didn't follow the entire case. But the point of your opening statement is to say this is what we intend to prove. That's the point of this. So this is the sequence of events that if the defense feels they've done their job well, that the sequence of events is at least compelling enough that they don't feel like the state has made their sequence of events believable beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the goal of this. So that's a bit simplified, but
that first shot, which we can't really see because it's videotaped through two windshields, Robbie Bryan's windshield and Travis McMichael's windshield. They're in front of the truck. When they collide, when Ahmaud Arbery makes a left, he's on Travis, and Travis has to fire. Because at that point, it's his life or Ahmaud Arbery's life. And the only thing, it's weird the way the mind works, the only thing he can think of at that point is Everett. Kind of flashes through his mind. My then three-year-old son. So he fires, he pulls down the weapon trying to get it away because Ahmaud Arbery's not stopped. That gunshot, which he knows was near his chest, at least he believes it in this melee, he pulls it down, he pulls it back. You'll see from the video he goes backwards out of frame because Arbery is rushing him, pulls it down, he fires another shot off frame. You see smoke, you see something spray. And you see Ahmaud Arbery swinging wildly. And he's hitting Travis. You see him hit with his right hand into Travis's head, neck. He is pounding Travis McMichael while Travis is trying to get the gun away. And Travis fires 2 more times, and you've seen that. It's a horrible, horrible video. And it's tragic. It's tragic that Ahmaud Arbery lost his life. But at that point, Travis McMichael is acting in self-defense. He did not want to encounter Ahmaud Arbery physically. He was only trying to stop him for the police. Self-defense is defined, and the court will charge you later.
Your Honor, I'm objecting again. Mr. Rubin is now giving them the law in self-defense.
It is.
So
We are allowed to give a law and opening statement, just as the state did in its opening statement.
We need to be very clear because, again, we haven't gone through a charge conference in this case. So let's be clear about it, that this is not the charge. So
I expect you'll be charged.
I don't even know why the fuck I was gonna say that. I don't have any experience there, but I guess it feels intuitively to me a little bit surprising that they're allowed to present charges, because this feels kind of similar to jury instructions, but maybe different judges have different rules, or I could just be wrong there, and that's super common. But because remember, you know how like when I'm debating people and somebody's like, Bush is a war criminal, or this guy committed crimes. It's like, okay, what crime, right? Crime denotes a very particular thing that has particular elements involved that must be satisfied for the crime to even have been committed, for us to say a crime was committed. So in court, it's not like, he shouldn't have killed him, that was a big bully thing, or that was mean, or I feel like this was self-defense because that was my feelings or whatever, right? All of these crimes, all of these affirmative defenses, all of these have specific things that are denoted about them that the jury has to consider when deciding if somebody committed a crime or not. So that the jury instructions of I don't think we got it in the first jury instructions, but maybe we will before they go for their deliberations. I believe the judge will say very specifically, this is the crime they are charged with. These are the underlying elements. If you feel like the state has proven these elements, then your verdict will come back guilty. If you feel they haven't, beyond a reasonable doubt or whatever, it's very, very, very specific and very particular to what the crime is, because that's the whole point, right?
Be clear about it, that this is not the charge. So
I expect you'll be charged on self-defense. And I expect this is what you'll be called, be charged, be told by the judge.
So he's doing now what Leon's law in a YouTube chat said, where you can't say, this is what's going to happen. You'll say, well, this is what I will expect you to be read. This is what I expect they'll say or whatever. Because remember, you can't present this. This is the judge's job.
A person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm only if he reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury to himself or to a third person. At the time the shots are fired, Travis McMichael reasonably believes, because Ahmaud Arbery is on him, aggressively, swinging wildly, grabbing hold of him, grabbing hold of the gun, reasonably believes he is justified in firing his weapon, knowing it's gonna kill him. It's gonna at least hurt him. He knows that. But he has no choice, because if this guy gets his gun, he's dead, or his dad's dead. And what's he taught in the Coast Guard at the Maritime Law Enforcement Academy? Never lose your weapon.
Jeez.
And that's why he shoots. Travis McMichael, within seconds, encounters the police. Officer Minshew, Officer Duggan, they arrive on scene. He cooperates fully. He does whatever they tell him to do. When they say speak, he speaks. When they say don't speak, he doesn't speak. Cooperates fully. He's distraught. He's upset. You'll see this on the video, the body cam of the officers. There's no glee at having done what he just did. It's awful. He's covered in blood, Ahmaud Arbery's blood. And then they take him down to the station, and he cooperates fully with the police and answers every question. When they tell him to write a map of where he went, he tries to write a map of where they went when they encountered each other on Burford and Holmes. And when they ask him to write a statement, he does his best to write out everything he knows to tell the police. There's been a lot written about this case and Travis McMichael's actions.
Not that this has any relevance to my life, but even if you do feel like you, let's say for this instance here, even if he feels like, or they feel like they've engaged in self-defense, would this be relevant? Yeah, it would be. Even if they feel like they've engaged in self-defense, it's nice, at least I think. Wait, how does this work? Where's Leon's law? Or Jen, somebody tell me. If you take the, can you like retreat to an affirmative defense if the state proves the underlying crime? So like, let's say for instance, you're talking to a lawyer and you're talking to your defense lawyer, and you're like, okay, I killed this motherfucker, but it was self-defense. And the lawyer looks at it and he's like, listen, we got a better chance of beating this charge if you just say you didn't kill him rather than admitting you killed him and then trying to prove self-defense. Is that a thing? Do you only get one shot at that, or how does that work? Don't trust Jen, she lies. Retreat when? No, I'm sorry. When I say retreat, I mean like back off to an affirmative defense. You can argue both if you want. Well, that seems kind of bullshitty though, no? Like, listen, I definitely did not kill this guy, but if I would have killed him, it definitely would have been self-defense. And I'm going to argue both of these incredibly strongly. No? Can you actually do that? At Destiny, it would be one shot because you have to admit to the cause of action in self-defense. Yeah, that's why, yeah. I wonder how many cases you have where it's like you think you could argue the self-defense, but the state's gonna have a really hard time proving that you even killed the person. So it's better to just not say anything and never try to run the... But I have no idea. I don't know how that works. Yeah, the defense has to plead the affirmative defense before trial. Legally, you can. I guess you just have to decide beforehand what your best strategy is. But I mean, like, they've already admitted to everything. They talked to police. They thought they were in the right. So by the time an attorney's in front of them, they have to do this affirmative defense route. They've admitted, and it's game over at that point, right?
Doesn't matter. What matters now is the evidence that you're going to hear, the facts that you're going to hear, and the law that you're going to be given by Judge Walmsley. You are now the judges of the facts and the applicators of the law in this case. The evidence shows overwhelmingly that Travis McMichael honestly and lawfully attempted to detain Ahmaud Arbery according to the law and shot and killed him in self-defense. What we're asking you to do is hard, and it may be unpopular, but we're asking you to recognize your responsibility as jurors in being open to the facts and putting aside emotion and listening to the law and applying that and doing your duty. Because we think the only right verdict is not guilty on each and every count in this indictment. Thank you.
Jesus. So the only way that it can be self-defense is I wish I knew the name. I don't know anything. I really don't know anything about law. Well, there's a name for something to where let's look it up. Can I claim self-defense if I kill someone while I'm robbing them? There's a name for this why you can't do this. Is it just felony murder? Is this just the felony murder rule? Or does it have a different name? Like if you're already in the commission of at least a felony and somebody is engaged in, and somebody tries to kill you or whatever, you kill yourself in self-defense in the commission of at least like a felony, I don't think you can ever claim self-defense in that circumstance. But I don't remember what it's called. But basically, the only reason I say this is because I look forward to my Google searches showing up in court. Imperfect right of self-defense. I'm sure that if you were committing like a misdemeanor, I bet you could defend yourself with deadly force. So like if we can imagine what would a misdemeanor, like a trespassing, like you're running through somebody's yard and a homeowner catches you and he starts chasing you down and he has a gun with you to kill you. I'm sure you could defend yourself there. And even if you kill her, there's no way that you would get like a felony murder charge. I can't believe that. But if you're in the commission of a felony, like if you go to rob a gas station and as you're robbing the store, like the owner comes out to kill you, and you, even if you didn't want to use deadly force, you end up killing him in the commission of that felony. It might just be felony murder, maybe. But you can't do that. So that means that for this trial, assuming what I just said is correct, which I'm pretty sure that principle is true, that means that the most important part of this trial, probably, maybe, is proving that the citizen's arrest was legitimate. Because if it wasn't, then they were just basically kidnapping somebody or unlawfully detaining somebody, especially with a weapon. My guess is that's going to be a felony. So then it really doesn't matter if they were engaged in self-defense legitimately or not afterwards. They could never justify killing him, even if it would have been self-defense in any other case, I think, is my guess for how this works. The law just specifically outlines when self-defense is warranted, and it also specifies cases when it's not. I don't know of a specific name for it. People are saying depraved heart murder. I think this is just another name for like types of second degree or possibly first degree murder. I don't know, but I don't think this is it. Even if you are the aggressor, you may be able to establish self-defense by retreating, but most states assume you're the aggressor in robberies and their statutes. Code of Georgia, crimes and offenses, defense to criminal prosecutions. Use of force in defense of self or others, evidence of belief that force is necessary in murder or manslaughter, prosecution. A person is justified in threatening or using force against another when and to the extent that he or she reasonably believes that such a threat or force is necessary to defend himself or herself or a third person against such other's imminent use of unlawful force. However, except as provided in Code Section 16.323, a person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm only if he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury to himself or herself or a third person, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. Okay, so that's it here, right? So a person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm only if he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury to himself or herself or a third person, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. I wonder how forcible felony is defined. Oh, Section B explains. As used in this code section, the term forcible felony means any felony which involves the use or threat of physical force or violence against any person, and further includes, without limitation, murder in the second degree, burglary in any degree, robbery, armed robbery, home invasion in any degree. Okay, so home invasion in any degree means that if you're like engaged in the crime of home invasion, that would mean that you are allowed to defend yourself to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. And since you're using lawful force, it wouldn't qualify as unlawful force, so you wouldn't be entitled to defend yourself against it, if I'm understanding all of the underlying elements of this, right? So if I break into somebody's home and then I didn't want to kill them, but I'm like in their home and they come out and they're like, oh, I'm going to vote, and I pull out a gun and I kill them in self-defense, well, that if the other person, that's lawful force. They're allowed to use, force that would cause death or great bodily injury because they're preventing the commission of a forcible felony. So I wouldn't be allowed to defend myself in that circumstance, which makes sense. It's a lot of words to say, but which is like pretty. I mean, it makes sense, right? If someone broke into my house and started working out, I couldn't shoot them, right? Fuck yeah, you could. What the fuck? They're stealing hours on your power rack? You didn't buy all those weights just for some motherfucker to get a free gym pass. Okay, section B, subsection 3. A person is not justified in using force under the circumstances specified in subsection A of this code section if he initially provokes the use of force against himself with the intent to use such force as an excuse to inflict bodily harm upon the assailant. Oof, okay. Is attempting to commit, committing, or fleeing after the commission or attempted commission of a felony. There it is, yeah. And was the aggressor or was engaged in a combat by agreement unless he withdraws from the encounter and effectively communicates to such other person his intent to do so, and the other, notwithstanding, continues or threatens to continue the use of unlawful force. Combat by agreement. What is this? Are there like dueling rules in Georgia? Maybe like boxing? There's no way that there must be a... Or maybe this is written for that. I have no idea if there's like a trial by combat thing. Okay. What this, the Law and Crime Network seems like they're missing a lot of videos. Travis McMichael testifies about shooting Ahmaud Arbery. This is like a 3 or 4 minute video. And then closing arguments. Oh, it is. This was like, we just watched, I guess, like day 5, and then it goes to like day 12, basically. What's the next video?
Thank you. You can all be seated.
Mutual combat is recognized in common law.
For joining them.
Oh, so I guess, yeah, if you were in a bar and you tell some guy, let's take it outside or some shit. Mom finds severed head in her son's room. Jesus Christ. Is that federal law or just some states? Generally, most law is pretty similar from state to state. But right now we're talking specifically, we just read the Georgia statute. Now, I say generally, but like some of the specific underlying things could be very important to some criminal cases. Like, I don't believe every state, or I think there's a wide difference between like how affirmative defenses are handled in some states, or it's not even considered like an affirmative defense. They just, it's a totally different category of things. But I mean, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and then whoever magically has the correct links for these things is gonna link me. Prosecution's opening. I mean, the prosecution wins this case, so I don't even care. We don't need to listen to their opening. We'll just hear the testimony and everything. Hold on, let me use the restroom 1 sec.